Welcome back, students. I'm back with the summary of the lesson. After 20 years, we quickly see what we have studied in our previous two videos. Summary. After 20 years. The story begins with a policeman patrolling the streets of New York. Midway of a block, he sees a man standing at the dark doorway of a hardware store. The man quickly steps up to reassure him that he is merely waiting for a friend. As the man moves, a shaft of light from the next store falls on his face. The man goes on to talk about his friend, Jimmy Wells, and how they had dined 20 years ago at a restaurant where the hardware store now stood. When they had parted, since this man was leaving for the West the next day, they had decided to meet at the same place 20 years later, as by then they would have their lives worked out and made their fortune. The man waxed eloquent about his friend and their friendship. However, he said that they had eventually lost touch, but he was sure that Jimmy would remember their meeting and would definitely come there. The policeman eventually bids goodbye after asking the man how long he would wait for his friend. Presently, a tall man in a long coat with the collars turned up comes towards Bob. The man greets Bob warmly and they begin to talk. At first, Bob thinks he is Jimmy, although Bob cannot see the man too well in the dark. He is surprised that Jimmy seems taller than what he remembers. To this, the man says that he had grown a little after 20. As they start walking, the light of a medicine shop falls on the friends and the friends turn to look at each other. Bob immediately realizes that the tall man is not Jimmy Wells. At this, the man introduces himself as a policeman and informs Bob that he is under arrest as he is wanted by the Chicago police. He gives Bob a note. Bob reads the note and realizes that the policeman he had spoken to earlier had actually been Jimmy Wells. When the light had fallen on Bob's face, Jimmy had realized that Bob was an outlaw. Hence, he had refrained from revealing his identity and sent his colleague to arrest Bob. So, this is what the actual summary of the lesson is. The story ends with one of O. Henry's twist endings, wherein Bob gets to know that Jimmy Wells, his childhood friend, is actually getting him arrested. The beauty of the story lies in the reader's dilemma on whether they should feel bad for Bob or appreciate Jimmy's strength of character when he did not let his personal feelings overpower his sense of duty. This short story has three different thematic elements woven into the plot: friendship, loyalty, and trust. Bob clearly values the bonds of friendship that were forged between him and Jimmy all those years ago. However, it seems some of the knots may have come loose over the years that tied Jimmy to Bob. Keeping their 20-year-old appointment to the minute, Bob's loyalty to Jimmy is obviously unwavering. However, now that he's a policeman, Jimmy's loyalties to Bob and to the law are put to the test when he discovers his old friend is wanted fugitive. We are also left wondering if Bob's trust was misplaced and he failed to see the obvious as he was so consumed by his success in the West. Children, answers for the assignment 1 are given here. Please check your answers for the same. Check your answers for your assignment number 2. Question answers for this lesson will be uploaded in PDF format soon after the lesson gets completed. You will have to write these question answers in your English main course notebook. Thank you and stay safe.